So, I used to think that the Pixel 4 XL was probably the most premium feeling Pixel phone that we had. I loved it, I talked about it, I ranted and raved, yada yada yada, hated the battery life. I'm actually very happy to say that that is no longer the case, and I gotta say, this Pixel 6 Pro feels real good. Let's jump in. Now, first thing first, this isn't gonna be a full-blown review. I like to review my phones for a couple of weeks to a month before I give you guys my full thoughts. This is gonna be my first impressions, just kind of how it's been since I picked it up on the 28th of October. So whatever day this is for you watching it, just know that's when I got my hands on this product. First thing first, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, do all that fun YouTuber stuff. But most importantly, guys, I want to see you drop some comments in there. I want to know what your thoughts are, what you're excited for, what you're worried about. If you guys are going to pick this up, that's my favorite thing to see is you guys interact in the comments section. All right, so jumping in, we're going to talk about the design because that's going to be the first noticeable change from the past Pixels to this one. And man, I like it. And I like it more than I thought I would. At first, I saw the images and I thought it looked okay. I like the fact that it looked different, but I wasn't sure how it would look in person. And it's one of those devices that when you see it in person, it looks a lot better. Yeah, the camera visor is huge, but I like it for some reason. Also, my finger tends to fit directly underneath it, so it's a little bit of a support for a device that's this big. And guys, it's a big phone. It's about Galaxy Note 21 Ultra size. I think it's a tiny bit thinner, so that's a good thing for me. I am generally not a big phone person. I used to always have the big phones and I fell in love with the small phones, but this doesn't feel bad in hand. I mean, it's comfortable. Granted, I do have long fingers, bigger hands, yada, yada, yada. It's gonna be a benefit to somebody like me. If you are somebody with average to small size hands, probably go with the regular 6 because it's a chunk. It's a big boy. I like it because, I don't know, it's refreshing. My last phone was kind of small and I loved that. So it's good to switch up every once in a while. It doesn't feel as big as I thought it would. But I also have held a iPhone 13 Pro Max and that's probably the biggest phone I've felt because it's wide also. Now back to that camera visor that a lot of people don't like. I think it's neat. A lot of personality in there. It doesn't feel super cheap, but it doesn't feel super premium. I would have loved to see the aluminum frame blend into that camera visor the way it does on a Galaxy S21 or 21 Ultra. They did it the smoothest. They made it look seamless. I wish Pixel has done that with this one. But that kind of made me start feeling like this isn't the 6th Pixel in my brain. This is basically the reboot. They could have called this one just the Google Pixel and would have been fitting because this is a brand new direction Google seems to be going. So for me, this is their first iteration of a true flagship. It feels premium. It's nice and well made. It has a little bit of heft to it. There are some pieces of it that need a bit of polish, but if we're looking at it as if it's their first journey into this flagship arena, then that's okay. It's okay to be a little unpolished on your first try. The part that I don't like on it, it's not a matte finish. I love what Google did when they started with the matte finishes on I believe it was the Pixel 3. Or the Pixel 3 was the first glass one with that frosted finish. I wish they did that with this device. That would have been beautiful. I mean, that's all this needs. That's really all this needs. Instead, every color we get has a glossy finish. And glossy looks nice, but we all know, man, it just collects a lot of fingerprints. And you try to show this phone off to somebody, you gotta reach for your little microfiber cloth to wipe it down before you show them. And we don't wanna do that. We wanna show them the phone as pretty as can be. The iPhone 13 series has that wonderful matte finish. The Galaxy has a great matte finish. Pixel being the one that started that frosted back should have kept with it. And I don't know why they got away from it. I will say though, on my cloudy white version, it does hide fingerprints very well, surprisingly, because the other two colors tend to show them. The stormy black is the worst one. you look at that phone and it starts getting smudges. If you hate fingerprints, go with the white one because it really doesn't show up on this device. Now, we're gonna flip that back over to the screen and boy, it's a beautiful screen. Now, of course, we all know the specs. It jumped up to the 120 Hz LTPO display, whatever that acronym stands for, I can't remember. But it drops down to, I believe, 10 Hz when needed, up to 120. So what does that mean? You're gonna get that fast, high refresh rate display, but when you're not utilizing it, it's gonna help you save battery. So it's not gonna be 120 Hz when you're looking at a still image. It's gonna drop down as needed. That's something I think is amazing. I'm glad to see it on this device. I'm glad Google didn't skip out on that piece of technology. My experience with the screen has been stellar. It's bright, thank God. The quality is amazing, very clear, very crisp. I do think I prefer the color calibration on the 4XL a little bit more, but they had that like true tone feature that's for some reason missing in this one. Hey, whatever, you get some, you lose some. I'm okay without having it. But with that being said, it is a beautiful display. I don't know if it's Galaxy S21 Ultra quality, but it's pretty damn close. And one thing I have missed about these big phones is watching like TV or anime on it. It feels much more comfortable on this huge screen. So as of now, my initial impression on the screen and the design, it's positive. I like it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the durability stands. So I'll make sure to follow up on that in my full review. Now, how about performance? Yeah, it's a flagship phone. It feels super snappy. But with Android 12 and its changes to the framework and how they've been improving Android 12, minus some bugs, this thing is amazing. I think 120 Hz feels better on this than it did on my Galaxy S21, mainly because of the animations and mainly because of Android 12. When we see these new phones upgrade to Android 12, then it's going to even out across the board. But as of now, this is one of the smoothest Android phones I have tried. Yeah, no complaints so far. Maybe a few hiccups here and there. Once again, we'll get into that a little later down the road when I do my full review. But hey, so far, solid. And how about that battery life? Because we know past Pixels have kind of sucked when it came to battery. In my initial testing, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I was hoping to get that iPhone 13 level. I haven't reached there yet, but we do know Pixel phones do take a little bit of time before that battery maxes out with its adaptive battery technology. From what I can see, it's looking good. I still have a little bit of battery anxiety, and that's just me coming from a 4XL and then the Galaxy S21. Those two phones did not have the best battery, in my opinion, but I don't think I need it on this. I'm just, I'm waiting for that little trauma, that little bit of battery PTSD to go away, because honestly, so far, so good. I don't have any screen on time, which I don't really like screen on time anyway, because let's say I'm at the gym for an hour and a half and I'm listening to music on my Bluetooth Pixel Buds or anything, it's going to be draining battery, but it's not going to count the screen on time. So when you see somebody quote screen on time, take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't tell the whole story. So far though, it looks promising. I have had some rough days, to be honest, and I want to continue my testing on the battery. One of these days I have to go without ever plugging into my car charger and just go out on the town and get a full-fledged idea of how this battery life works. But until then, as someone who's been using it for less than a week, it seems pretty solid. And what about some of the other stuff? Now, of course, we gotta talk about the camera. I want to do a more in-depth camera review on this guy, so maybe that'll be a separate video from the review. Maybe I'll kind of do both. We'll see what I do with that. But the camera, I truly missed having such a fast shutter speed on the camera. That was my biggest gripe with the Galaxy S21, and the Pixel is a fast snapper. Like, I have a kid, I have a dog, I tell you guys all the time, and when I take pictures, I catch these pictures. And a lot of that has to do with that AI, with the de-blur, whatever AI that's inside this phone. So when I take a picture of my daughter and she's moving around, it utilizes the wide angle camera to actually fix her blurry face and kind of stitch the better image onto the picture I took. So solid. love it. But the camera's not perfect. There are some instances where you get it at like 10 out of 10, and other times it's like 6, 7. To give you a quick idea and a little teaser, great camera, great hardware, but sometimes I think it's doing a little too much. So we'll get into that in more depth, and I'll probably have more images to show and all that fun stuff. But right now, the camera is really good, but it does have the opportunity to get even better. And we'll hope to see it do that in the future. Well, what about that Tensor chip? Performance based on Tensor, it's hard to separate what's just the raw power and then what's the AI. And that's probably a good thing about the Pixel phones, because they blend it in so perfectly that you don't know when it's just the phone's muscle doing it or the phone's brain. We get a mixture of brawn and brain in the Tensor chip, and so far I like it. I'm not seeing any red flags. I'm optimistic. This being their first try, so far so good. I love certain AI aspects that I can test out and that are tangible, such as the voice to text. Because I don't like the text normally. I hate texting when driving. I don't text when driving. But being able to just use my voice to communicate while I'm driving and it's in driving mode is amazing, because now it's way more accurate and I have more control with my voice. Dude, this thing is almost immediate. Like while I'm talking, it's writing. And I talk fast at times and I have a slight, I guess, accent, whatever. I have my own weird way of talking. It's the Haitian and the Philly in me. So good luck understanding what I say half the time. But it's kept up, it's caught my words, and it's been smart. I haven't tested the live translation. I'm going to definitely run this course with that, which means I'll probably just talk to my grandma, who don't speak any bit of English. She speaks Spanish and Creole, so I have 2 languages to test it out with, and I'll let you know how that goes. But all in all, what do I think so far? So far, it's pretty solid. The performance is pretty solid. Most of the issues I've had, like the bugs and whatnot, I think is an Android 12 problem. And the beauty of it being an Android 12 problem is it's software. Software can be fixed. But when it comes to the hardware, the part that Google has struggled with year after year after year, I am cautiously optimistic. We know it takes time for these weird issues to start popping up. I thankfully haven't had anything of that nature. Battery life seems pretty decent. I wish charging speeds were faster. I haven't tested out the fast wireless charging because I can't. That charging stand isn't out yet. And my regular wireless chargers don't do fast charging. But with my old 18-watt Pixel charger, it takes a little longer because it's a bigger battery than was on my 4XL or my Galaxy S21. So it's hard to really tell. I'm waiting for me to get that Google official charger, and maybe I'll get an Anchor one. And then I'll let you know how the charging speeds are and how much it lasts after using their charger. So battery life, so far promising. Performance, definitely promising. AI, knocked it out the park. Camera, a lot of potential. But I will say this, the fact that you can shoot RAW can solve a lot of those issues. Because if you don't like how Google processes it and you're a more professional or more in-depth photographer, you have the tools you need built into this device. Build, I like, could use a little more polish. So far, I am excited. I am thrilled. This is what we've been asking for as of now. But I'm going to run it through the gauntlet. I'm going to beat this thing up. I'm going to make sure that this is the Pixel that we as consumers need, that we deserve. You know what I mean? But I love the feel. It's as if it feels like the Note 20 and the Galaxy Pixel had a baby and this bad boy popped up. That's my initial impression. I'm going to give you more in depth. I'm going to give you more samples. I'm going to make a better video. But right now I had to get my thoughts out because I'm a little behind, you know. I'm not like these other YouTubers. Google doesn't send me nothing. I mean, I would love to be Team Pixel, so, you know, throw my name out there if there's anybody who could do that. But once again, thanks for listening to me rant and rave. If you have questions on what you want to see in my full review, please drop them into the comments. Let me know what you want me to test out. Let me know what concerns you have. Just talk to me and I'll talk back. You know how it goes. But as of now, if you are interested in Pixels and you don't want to wait for my review, all signs say go. I'm liking this. And if you're a little price conscious, remember, this starts at $899 for the Pro flagship model. And if you're like, man, I don't even got that, bro, the regular 6, that's only missing a few features, starts at $599. $599, $899. You can't go wrong to try this bad boy out. If there was ever a time to try out a Pixel, so far I'm going to say give it a go. If you're a little more cautious, you want to wait for that full review, hit that bell icon and you'll see when I drop that review. But until then, it's been great talking to you. Thanks for letting me rant, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.